Ace Attorney Investigations 2. The Captive Turnabout, Part 3. Now, that last one was long. I think this one's going to be about as long. We shall see, won't we? Anyway. March 28th. You withheld information from me. Why? I didn't withhold anything. Or at least, I didn't mean to. Okay, so you are a member of the Very Big Circus, right? No, I mean, yes, but no. I'm not really a member. I'm still new. That's irrelevant. You're still a member. And there he goes. Lord. Let's try this again. Why didn't you tell us? Because it would have looked so suspicious, me being a performer in the circus show. Okay, but... bruh, you gotta tell the truth. And me being friends with Bronco, I thought that if anybody found out, nobody would believe I was innocent. Not even you, Kay. I thought I'd made it clear that I believed in you. But when you stare at me like that, I get so terrified, You're a real smooth operator, aren't you, Miles? Any other clients scaring tips you want to share? You've been hit by a smooth criminal. You're not really helping, Bender. And at this rate, it sounds like we really will need to question him about everything all over again. So what do you do at the circus, Simeon? I'm an animal tamer, kind of. I'm still learning the ropes. That's so cool. Do you get to train lions and tigers and bears and stuff? Lions, tigers, bears? Oh my. No. I work with this little guy. Looks pretty tame already to me. You're not exactly a tamer, more like one of those old-timey organ grinders. Not now, Money. I'm trying to... Oh, you little scamp. What in the ratatouille? This wouldn't... If I saw that at the circus, it would entertain me because, obviously, it's, like, the easiest to explain thing, but, like, that would entertain me. Something tells me it's the organ grinder who's being monkeyed around. When we spoke to you before, you said you worked at a company. I was telling the truth. The circus really is a company. We all have titles and everything. The ringmaster's the CEO, and I guess you'd call me a gopher. I even have a line manager. She's head of the animal taming department. It's part of the showbiz division. She's such an inspiration. There isn't a creature in the world she couldn't convince to do her bidding. Even Miles here? I'd like to see somebody whip him into shape. I am not some kind of creature, Fender. So, this line manager, was she working with you on the show? Yes, it was just us two. It wasn't all that big of a job compared to what we normally do. She's usually the one performing on stage. I just do all the monkey work. But I did have a bit part this time. So, only 2 members of the circus are relevant to this case. Look how cute Money is. I'm pretty sure it's the same monkey from, like, the original trilogy that is not talking about. Maybe someday. It's gonna be a long time before I revisit this series, I think, this channel. Rolling the show. Alright, talk me through your movements here at the facility. Sure. I came to see Bronco at around noon 2 days ago. And that was when you brought him the chess set? Yes. And that same evening, I started to work on setting up the stage in the yard. It was so hard. I had to haul everything in all by myself over multiple trips. Welcome to being in a show. They let us use one of the rooms in the prison for storage. Workshop A, I think. So it's just the two of them. They really should have had a third person to help with it, but there I go thinking like, there I go making sense. Workshop A, where Knight's body was found. You mean your boss didn't help you? Oh no, I could never ask her to schlep all that stuff around. Like I said, the monkey work is my job. Once it was all set up, we did a run-through, and it must have been, midnight by the time I left. The next morning, I was back and ready for the show, which started at 8 a.m. Then we performed till 10? So Mr. Saint was the only one of the pair to have entered the room where the body was found. Knight's body was found immediately after the show had ended. Do you have any idea why you were arrested? Why so quickly? I've never seen a guy get booked so fast. Surely even Lil Winter wouldn't pull somebody in on a hunch. Never underestimate the power of an underdeveloped intellect. Oh, I know that. I know that's right. I'm not the brightest person in the world, but I feel like I'm above the curve. I think I might know why. When I was moving all the stuff, I went to go see how he was doing. Bronco, I mean. That's your buddy. That's your buddy. Don't you do that. You went to the holding cells on your own? Tell me you had permission. No, it wasn't a formal visit or anything. I just sort of snuck over and hoped no one stopped me. But you'd just seen him earlier that same day. Why take the risk? I've known him since we were kids. When both of us were all alone, he doesn't have any family, you see. Just like me. I knew he'd be feeling lonely, that he'd want somebody to talk to, so I had to go see him. You don't have any family? For a while I had my dad, but he passed away when I was a little kid. Losing one's father as a child, I know that pain all too well. He's just like you and me, Mr. Edgeworth. There was nobody else nearby when you went to see him? No, the other holding cells were empty, and I didn't see any guards. Well, somebody must have seen you, or you wouldn't be in here. Oh, no. I messed up so bad, didn't I? Yes. Yes, you did. So the assumption is that something happened while the two were alone together. At least I imagine that would be Winter and Judge Gavale's thinking. In any case, I think we'll need to speak to your boss next. Last I heard, she's supposed to be around today, too, somewhere in the yard. Tell her I'm sorry, won't you? I'm so sorry. I can't believe I let this happen. Sure thing, Simeon. We're here for you. If there's anything else we can do, just say the word. But, I mean, that is, there's nothing I can do for you in return. You don't have to worry about that. We're friends. We know what it's like to be in your shoes. We're all part of the same club, after all, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately so, I'm afraid. Thank you for sharing such personal details with us. By the sounds of it, you had little reason to kill him. If anything, you're the one most affected by his passing. And what's more, I simply don't believe a person as gentle as you is capable of murder. Rest assured, we believe you. We will get you out of here. What the hell is that clap? Well, what do we have here? A gosh darn defense attorney, that's what. Bravo, big guy. I can't believe I'm saying it, but you even reminded me of your old man for a moment there. I did? In the Book of Gregory, an attorney is a friend to the friendless. Simeon, me bucko. This guy'll suffer any hardship for your friendship. Things are gonna be shiply amazing. I didn't realize Talk Like a Pirate Day had come early this year, Thunder. But that's just the thing. You never know when a pirate will strike next. Anyway, kid, you want some candy? Nope, thanks. I don't like sweet stuff. Oh, huh. Bummer. Yeah, if it was a bag of chips, absolutely. I wouldn't mind a nice ship myself. Great Thief's Galleon for the Dread Pirate K. Yahar, me hearties. We'll sail the 7 seas together and claim the greatest treasure of all, the truth. Shiver me timbers, you two will be the death of me. Come on, let's sail for the prison yard. No sea shanties on the way, please. No. Yes, sea shanties. She shall. What about Worcestershire? Look, the shutter's open. That's the way out to the yard, I believe. Let's go take a look. Come on, what are you waiting for? Someone's excited. Well, yeah, she wants to see the circus animals. I would too. March 28th. Prison yard. So this is the famous yard. Circus performance was taking place here just before the body was discovered. Ooh, excuse me. Check it out. It's like the backdrop to some epic festival. Oh yeah, it's like a castle. Most of the prisoners were assembled here when the body was discovered. I don't understand this freaking map. Because, like... So, here's the cells in the prison on this side. The stairs were, like, over here, right? But the yard is over here. I don't know. Most of the prisoners were assembled here when the body was discovered. Which means that... well, actually, you know what? Where it says cells and prison above it, that's probably where those workshop rooms are. I suck at, like, orientation. Like, I have to physically see it, or I can't picture it. Which means that anyone who saw the show has an alibi. Data updated in my organizer. Okay, can we just have the whole bloody map, please? Because, honest to God, at this point. Alright, time to take a look around. Eek. Okay. Oh. Stop hitting me. Help, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, that elephant said, fuck you. So cease and desist, you beast. Ouch, help. Ow. Stay, Isaiah. Stay. God, that elephant said, fuck this tiny little bitch. I don't like her. Did you see that? What the hell? Who's that? I know her. Aw, you found a new friend to play with. Good for you, girl. Play with? Your elephant nearly ate me. No way. She'd never do a thing like that. Zane doesn't even bite. At least, not very often. But she does have a taste for human flesh. How did you like meeting a real live elephant up close? Aren't you glad you did? Yeah, glad I didn't die. But you did have fun, right? Right? I cannot. Her voice should be like Kristen Chenoweth with Glinda, Ariana Grande. Like here, and I'm far too tired for that shit. There, sweetie. Don't cry. She had a wonderful time, didn't you, Kay? Don't mislead the poor girl, Fender. She did? Oh, I'm so happy. Here, let me make it up to you. How about a hug, you fucking nasty ass? We don't know how old this little girl is. She was a child last time we saw her, so she might be an adult now, but still. Ah, keep your trunk to yourself. Aw, another new friend. Isn't this just the best day ever? I am Associate Defense Attorney Miles Edgeworth. Didn't you fucking meet? I know he did this case. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Regina. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Kay, Great Thief Extraordinaire and Mr. Mr. Associate Defense Attorney's great associate. The self-introduction brought to you by the word convoluted. Yeah, that was funny. And your elephant's newest friend is Mr. Fender, the defense attorney. The offensive. Yeah, she's offensive, alright. Oh, she's not just any elephant. That's Isaiah, the Asian elephant. Asia. It's probably supposed to be like Asia, but I'm saying Isaiah. Isaiah stopped the second you told her to. You really have a way with animals, Regina. Well, I wouldn't be much of an animal tamer if I didn't. What? So you're Simeon's boss? That's right. Regina Berry, head of the Animal Taming Department, Showbiz Division, Berry Big Circus. Oh, yeah, Oh. I wonder if the clown is still in charge. It's so lovely to meet all of you. The pleasure's all ours, mademoiselle. Name's Eddie Fender. I'm a bit of an ace attorney. So much for whipping me into shape. Yes, she's perfect. What are you muttering about to yourself, Kay? That positivity, that charisma, that energy. Regina, you'd make a perfect partner in crime for the great thief Utagarasu. Hey, thief? It sounds like fun. The animals and I have stolen the spotlight quite a bit in our time. That's the one thing we don't want to steal. Gotta keep it on the down low, all stealthy ninja-like. But where's the fun without a show? The down low sounds like it might get me down. Bummer. I think we've got a fundamental difference of opinion going on here. Well, that's the thing. No, she could put on a show to distract while you go and do your little thievery. I mean, yeah. It would work, I promise. It would indeed appear that negotiations have broken down. Maybe next time, Kay. How old is Regina now? Do we have her profile yet? Oh, we do. Oh, she's 17. Why everybody 17? That woman is only 37. Man, I thought she was at least in her 40s. 47, age unknown, 27. 24, he's 17, and I know she's 17. What the hell were they doing 17 years ago that everybody was born? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, let's get cracking. Too bad we can't see much of what's beyond that metal fence, though. Indeed, we're in a sore need of information in addition to evidence. Therefore, we should make an effort to talk with any persons of interest as well. Danger high voltage? I never saw one of these in real life. Hey, that must be the fabulous garden outside the warden's office over there. Oh, okay, I see where we are. Ah, yes. Warden Lagarde mentioned being able to see it from her window on the detention center side. Wish this dumb barbed metal fence wasn't in the way, though. I thought it was all one big yard. Given how protected the warden seemed of her little bit of earth, I imagine it's to keep riff-raff like us out. Oh, it's telling me to talk to her next. So, like, I have a guide up that I've been kind of following, but, like, kind of pressed for time, so I'm gonna have to push this one out. Regina Berry. If you're the head of the animal taming department, you must be Mr. Saint's boss. That's right. My dad founded the Berry Big Circus. When he passed away, he was murdered. I'm sorry to hear that. But we have a new ringmaster now, and he's made the circus bigger and better than ever. I gotta look up how long ago this was. That was in 27, so almost 2 years ago. Was it? Well, no. A little over a single year. Wow. Oh. We have a new ringmaster now, and he's made the circus bigger and better than ever. He's such a nice man. And he was a good friend of my dad's, too. Okay, so the clown is still in charge. That's nice. Oh, that's great. Lucky you. I know, right? It was his idea to set up departments like animal taming, magic, and ventriloquy. Ventriloquy. Ventriloquy? That word looks so odd. It's the Q. Ventriloquy. Only animal taming and ventriloquy have more than one person right now. But the very big circus is getting bigger and better day by day. Sounds like you guys are really going places. They're getting on well. I'll leave them to it. Can you tell me about the show? Oh, it's a wonderful thing. It even has a story. Not just any story, it's a love story. Isn't that dreamy? Sounds like a regular riot. So who's the star of the show? Let me guess. You? No, silly. That would be Isaiah. She falls in love with none other than Regent the Tiger. It's a heart-rending saga of forbidden interspecies romance. Oh, dear God. Whoa, Nelly, I've heard of odd couples, but that takes the biscuit. And that's not all. There's a love triangle, too. It's so romantic. That sounds pretty incredible, huh, Edgeworth? So the elephant is the heroine? I suppose there's a first time for everything. And, who's the third wheel? Oh, that would be the big old meanie who tries to tear our star-crest lovers apart. Ooh, what animal do you think it is, Mr. Edgeworth? Given that it's a circus, perhaps a lion? I think a raven would be cool, like the Yatagarasu. Nope, it's a sneaky monkey. That's certainly lowered the stakes. Oh, you mean money, right? You mean money, right? Nope. Again. Nope again. The role of the monkey is played by Simeon. Not anymore. Money's far too small to play against Isaiah and Regent, silly. Anyway, the evil villain tries to tear Isaiah and Regent apart. What will become of the heat-fated twosome? It's so exciting, isn't it? Wow, it sure is. So, Mr. Saint was more than just a little helper, he claims to be. Poor Simeon. It'd be terrible if he couldn't perform with us anymore. Can you tell me about how you set things up for the performance? Oh, that's not really my area. Simon took care of all the lifting and carrying. He's such a sweetie. He offered to do everything by telling me to concentrate on the show. I did see him doing something near that well, though. A well? I recall seeing one behind the stage. I should examine it in more detail. You should have seen him moving those huge cages around all by himself. He's a total hero. Yeah, sounds like something he would do. Weeping all the while. He's going back and forth between the yard here and some sort of workshop with all the equipment. The prison gave us special permission to use it for the storage. But he was the only one who went down there, so I don't know much more than that. The workshop must be the one where Knight's body was found. I guess this confirms that Mr. Saint was the only performer to have gone into Workshop A. Well, this sucks. All we're getting is information that works against us. You have to help Simeon, Mr. Attorney. We're all counting on you. Just leave it to us. He may not look like it, but Mr. Edgeworth knows how to get things done. And what exactly is he may not look it supposed to mean? There you are. Regina, Cupcake. Oh, Warden Lagarde. I've been simply dying to sit you down for a chat, you exquisite little thing. Oh, I have control. How am I supposed to do that? I'll just talk to her. Do you mind if I ask a little about the prison? Oh, not at all. This place is my pride and joy, my home. Sure, it was a prison when I first arrived, and it was awful, an utter disgrace. Awful? I suppose you mean the prisoners were unruly? I most certainly do not. They're angels, every one of them, and they always have been. No, it was the ambiance that was awful. I fretted, I brooded, and then it hit me, the animals. If anyone could brighten up the place, it was them. It is nice having them around. Isn't it just? Now look at my fabulous little family. Why, my darling Frankie is the very picture of rehabilitation. Rifling through dead men's pockets. Oh, Frank Soet? Is that who we're talking about? Oh yeah, I guess so. We have so many success stories among the family, but darling Frankie really is a marvel. He's thrown himself into his vocational training and is always the first to volunteer for everything. What, and your other model prisoners don't do that? Oh, of course they do, my dear, of course. They're all such triers, such doers. It's just that Frankie, let's just say he knows what's good for him. Ooh, excuse me. Huh? What exactly does she mean by that? Anyway, he's a very good boy, so do try to be nice to him, won't you? Yeah, what the hell did she mean by that? I actually don't remember that part. I'm gonna be surprised. Loud soaring music. Great leaping animals. The Berry Big Circus truly has it all. Everybody who comes here gets to see it once a month. Really? In that case, let me see. She'd better not be thinking of something to confess to. This monthly show. Is it always performed by the Berry Big Circus? But of course, sweetie. I'm Regina's biggest fan. That girl's my little princess, my superstar. She's so wonderfully talented. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. On the lips? Excuse me. And she's so adorable, so sweet. I could just gobble her up, right up. Like, I'll kiss my cat on the end of the nose, which I guess is the same thing as she licks her nose, but like... Oh, you're not lying when you say you're her biggest fan, huh? Which is why I'm worried about her. So worried. It's all because of poor Simeon, you see. If he's found guilty, why, darling Regina will be devastated. So you simply must make sure that doesn't happen, Mr. Lawyer. Please, I'm begging you. If there's anything I can do to help you clear up this awful misunderstanding, you let me know. Mr. Attorney, sir, and how are you today, if you don't mind me asking? Today? We just talked to you earlier, Mr. Sawit. Oh, heavens, I do apologize. Ever since I came to call this place home, I've been working on my interpersonal skills, you see. In order to be as annoying as possible. I'm currently helping out with the circus show stage teardown and cleanup. But if you have need of me, I'll do my utmost to help. Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm just chipping in and doing what I can, model prisoner that I am. Yes, my stay in this prison has seen me reborn. Frank saw what you see before you as a changed man. Yeah, I'll bet. A changed man. Who now targets the recently deceased? No, you misunderstand. That was just a moment of madness. A moment of madness? Ugh, you're a disgrace to all thieves everywhere. You're right, of course. I can't deny it. I still have a long way to go. As a thief? Anyway, as you can see, I have a shiny new bracelet now. So it's the straight and narrow for me. Like I say, I'm a model prisoner. Not that a real model prisoner would need to keep telling me that. I'm doing everything I can to prepare for my eventual return to society. Yeah, you even skipped the show to focus on your training, didn't you? That's right. Only 2 inmates were absent, Sawit and Canis. Why didn't you tell us about Mr. Canis sooner? Ah, that... Look, I don't think there's an inmate in this prison who'd talk about him if they didn't have to. He's... well, you could say he's the real one in charge around here. You didn't hear it from me, but... well, I guess it comes with being the fixer. The fixer? Yes, anything you need, he can get it for you. But how does he get away with it? I'm not sure, but he's the only one who does. I heard that he has a secret way of getting things into the facility. I imagine being the fixer affords Canis certain privileges. Not that I concern myself with such things anymore, of course. Well, that's the thing, like... so, you get the shit into the prison, then the guards see all this nice shit in your freaking your cell. That tells you right there what's happening. Not that I concern myself with such things anymore, of course. I'm far more interested in perfecting my mud pack application technique. And what are these mud packs exactly? They're a special type of mud treatment, rich with minerals. It works wonders on their coats. I've been practicing on the animals here in the prison. I hope to treat them all eventually. Speaking of mud, that reminds me of a certain piece of evidence. Maybe I should try presenting it to him. Yes, yes. Let me guess, the gloves. That's the rubber glove I dropped. Would you care to explain why it's so dirty? Oh, of course. That's mud from one of the pet treatments I've been practicing. I was giving one of the animals a mud pack right when the incident happened. I see. Around what time would this have been? Let's see. The show had already started, so around 9 a.m. perhaps? The thing is, the more mud I applied, the more in the zone I got, and the darker the animal's fur became. There's no trance quite like the trance of one enters when one slathers an animal with thick black mud. I don't know how to take that statement. I'm gonna move past it. I think the stress of prison might be getting to him. Of course, it's all thanks to the warden that we have access to such wonderful distractions. I'm eternally grateful, truly I am. Alright, now let's look at this well. A simple, sturdily built well. I wonder if it was the work of the prisoners. Somebody left a bunch of tools lying around. There's a long piece of rope and a pretty heavy-looking weight. Let's see, it weighs 30 pounds. Oh, and there's some pulleys, too. Okay, can you stop touching everything in sight? Aw, come on. It's not like I was gonna take anything. What exactly are they being used for, I wonder? Regina, darling, you put on the most splendid show for us yet again. The stage, the stars, and you in particular, my princess. It was simply divine. That's so nice of you. I hope everyone else who watched enjoyed it too. About that, dear, I'm afraid I have something awful to confess. There were some absences, you see. So, spoiler. I'm gonna give a little bit of a spoiler here. When I first played this, I thought that this woman was gonna end up being her mother. It's not the case. It would make more sense if that were the case, but she must be in Canis and saw it. We were 3 members short. Unbelievable, I know. How will you ever forgive me? I'm sorry, but you're saying 3 inmates didn't attend the show? That's right, sweetie. I counted the seats myself. 1, 2, 3 no-shows. And I always make sure there are enough seats for everybody. But, Mr. Edgeworth, that's not right, is it? Indeed, as far as we were aware, Mr. Canis and Mr. Sawit were the only ones not present. This doesn't add up. Who's the 3rd missing prisoner, and what were they doing? Means we need to investigate further. Oh, I was enjoying my chat with dear Regina so much, I almost forgot. I must feed the little one. Little one? Yikes! Oh, shit. Alligator! You're looking as adorable as always, Allie, my sweet. Oh, Allie the alligator. I gotcha. Aw, she's so pretty. And what a cute name. Yes, Allie the alligator. Isn't she a darling? She's my favorite, aren't you? Yes, you are. I'm so jealous. Can I pet her? Of course, princess, of course. Couldn't be me. Boy, howdy, these two were made for one another. They look like they'll be busy for a while. Maybe we should go back into the prison and check the cells. Yes, let's. Perhaps we can find a clue there as to who our 3rd missing prisoner might be. Or just ask the warden. Be like, sorry to interrupt for one moment. Who were the 3 missing prisoners? Son of a bitch. Sir, Mr. Edgewood, sir! Whew, I finally caught up with you. It's my boyfriend. Detective. You're not needed elsewhere? No, the judge and the kid aren't here yet. Oh, and I got your message. So you searched the victim's cell? Did you manage to turn anything up? You struck gold, sir. Well, blood, anyway. It was right there on the floor. Only in tiny specks, though. But at least it's something. Yeah, it proves that the holding cell was the scene of the crime, right? Not quite. It proves a possibility, but it's not conclusive yet. I was not ready for that sip of pop. The carbonation just got to me. I thought you'd say that, sir, which is why I ordered some follow-up work. I asked for forensics to analyze the blood and see if it matches the victims. They're on it as we speak. Good job. Nice work, Gummy. You thought of everything. Detective, I must say I'm impressed. Did you hit your head or something? Gee, you don't look so surprised, sir. I just hope things continue to go in our favor. You earned yourself a blowy later. Alrighty. So that's proof that the murder happened in the detention center. And for our next trick, we'll find out how that dog got over there. Don't worry, you can leave that one to me. Until the kid and his chaperone get here, we've got the whole prison to ourselves. Which is why I brought my secret weapons along. Secret weapons? That's right, a few tools of the trade that have helped me bust more than a few cases wide open. Behold, the 7 secret weapons of Dick Gumshoe, ace detective extraordinaire. Well, I don't know about you crazy cats, but I'm sold. Miles. Very well, detective. We'll try using your secret weapons. You got it, sir. Let me run you through the list. Secret weapon number 1, my trusty old metal detector. If it's made of steel, silver, or scrap, this little guy right here will find it. So it detects metal. Very good, detective. Next up, secret weapon number 2, missile. Everyone's favorite crime-fighting canine. He can track pretty much any scent you put in front of him, especially food. I love Missile. He sure is a lot cuter than Mr. Canis' dog. And now for secret weapon number 3. Where'd I put it? Aha! Am I one snapper short of a school, or is that a fishing rod? Don't tell me we're going fishing for clues. No? I mean, I just happen to have it with me is all. I see. Well, onwards and upwards, detective. Let's see what else you have. That's all she wrote, sir. Dummy, you're 4 secret weapons short of your so-called 7, and one of them was a fishing rod. Sorry, but that's all for today, okay? I'll, show you the rest next time. Why do you think I call them secret? Guy can't just go sharing everything at once. That's crazy. In that case, then I suppose the 3 you've deigned to reveal to us will have to do for now. Alright, which one do you want to try, sir? You got it, sir. Hey, Missile! Here, boy! Oh, he really came! So what are we tracking? We're trying to find out how Mr. Canis' dog got to the holding cells in the first place. I suspect the same route was used to bring Knight's body back to the prison. So we get the pooch to sniff for the body, and he'll find that route for us. Route? Route? I never know. Does anyone else smell something sweet? All I smell is the odor of blood. It's faint, sir, but it's there. Almost like cake, maybe? Why would the body smell of cake? Okay, Missile, get a nose full. Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's going. Oh, there he goes. Here we go. Follow that dog. That's the way to. He's headed for maximum security. Uh-oh, he's going in. We'll just have to follow after him. Oh, he's not there. This is Canis' cell. Though the man himself is absent, it seems. Is he meeting with someone in the visitor's room? Do you think Missile's onto something? Shh. It looks like maybe he is. Oh, woof, 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 woof. Is there something here? Let's get snooping, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Canis' chess set, complete with his special dog peak. That's not a chess set, that's a whole chess table with legs. Looks like it might be worth something, too. It's not inconceivable, some of them are. This is quite a nice one. I never would have pegged Mr. Canis as a chess fan, though. But with the whole Eastern aesthetic he's got going on, I thought he'd be more into Go. Go, huh? Can you play? I can play Go Fish. Not the same thing, Kay. Not even close. Yeah, Go's hard. There's a bell. Mr. Edgeworth, that chisel on the floor is a bit smaller than the others. I'm no woodworker, but perhaps it's an all-purpose one that can be used in a pinch, regardless of the job. An all-purpose pocket chisel. Makes sense. Always nice when your tools are useful and easy to carry. Is that your opinion as a thief? Nope, it's my opinion as a great thief. Walked into that one. and rice crackers. Mr. Canis clearly doesn't lack for comforts. I can think of worse ways to spend my time in jail than drinking tea and playing chess. I thought this was maximum security, not maximum comfort. How come nobody else gets this special treatment? Complaining to me isn't gonna help. Perhaps you could take it up with the man himself? Yikes, no thanks. Mr. Canis' chisels. Everyone a potential murder weapon. That reminds me of something. The furrows in your brow. When you frown, it looks like someone took a chisel to your forehead. I have no idea what you... See, they're so deep. Don't tell me you don't see it, Mr. Wood Carving Face. Have you quite finished? Huh? What's the matter, boy? Wait. Is this cake what you were after? Whoa, down, boy. Stop that. No, you can't have it. Dogs can't eat chocolate. You know that. If you won't behave, I'll just have to eat it myself. Not bad. Some real outside the chocolate box thinking there. Not sure everyone agrees, though. Gummy! I wanted some. Daring of you both to assume the food in a prison is safe to eat. Well, daring or dumb. So anyway, it looks like it really was cake Missile was tracking. Talk about a waste of time. I suppose we got our just desserts. The little guy's definitely capable, right? Sure he is. This was just a blip. He'll follow the right scent this time, I promise. Seek, boy. Oh, I think he's onto something. Whatever it is, it's in there. Mr. Carcerato's cell. We need to take a look inside. Detective, call the guard. Yes, sir. Thank you, officer. A question before we begin. Is the prisoner, Mr. Carcerato, still in solitary? No, sir. He came back a little while ago. He was here for the noon roll call. Guess he must be on work duty someplace. I see. Now, if you would be so kind as to open his cell. Yes, sir. Apparently. Oh my god, he's got a heater in here? This punching bag has certainly seen some... Oh. What breed were you again, Missile? Sure it wasn't a boxer? No way. No way indeed. Quickly, detective, move the sandbag aside. Yes, sir. A hole. Could this be... Whoa there, wait, Missile. I'm going in too. Wait, stop. Sir, I'll go get her. That's tight. Shouldn't have eaten that cake. He's gone. Well, I'm not going in there. Guess we'll just have to wait. Yeah, couldn't be me. Couldn't, wouldn't, and shouldn't be me. I wouldn't fit through that hole. Although I'm probably smaller than Gumshoe. Well, maybe not. I got a belly. Although, how tall is Gumshoe supposed to be? Because he's, like, huge, isn't he? Oh, yeah, he's, like, 6 foot. Way taller than me. Hello, Kay. Are you alright? You're not gonna believe this. I got the typos in this are not great. They rushed this out, maybe? You're not gonna believe this, but we're in the detention center. The detention center? That hole, it's a tunnel that leads right into Mr. Knight's cell. What? Don't go anywhere, I'm on my way. Oh, shit. Yeah. Tell the warden. Born through a party in the county jail. Prison began the web. Or prison guard was there and they began. Hey! Hey there, Mr. Edgeworth. Guess you could say we made a breakthrough. Quite. At least they came out unscathed, I think. Sir, the floorboards under the bed were torn up. Oh, Jesus. How did they miss this? That's how they did it. There's no doubt about it. Must be the route we're looking for. There's no doubt about it. The corridor connecting the detention center and the prison is locked down by heavy security doors. But with the help of this tunnel, it can be circumvented. There's a sweet scent that started this whole search. Could it be that the scent was in fact coming from Knight's body after all? Incidentally, Knight's body was covered in dirt. Dirt that might have come from being dragged through this tunnel. Okay, what was it like down there? Well, it was pitch black, so I couldn't see a whole lot. Luckily, my camera has a flash, so I took some pictures. Let's see what you captured. Look at that! Spoons? A fork? Guess these were for digging the tunnel. That aside, are those footprints? Paw prints, even. From a dog, perhaps? However, it begs something of a question. It does? Mr. Carcerado has certainly been making use of this tunnel, which means... Detective, we need to find out where Mr. Carcerado is immediately. If my suspicions are correct... Huh? Ah, nuts. The guards were alerted and they began searching for Mr. Carcerado right away. But after a thorough investigation of both the prison and the detention center, he was nowhere to be found. Oh, she's probably fuming. Well, have the police been notified? Yes, ma'am. We just finished liaising with them a moment ago. They set up a cordon around the entire facility. Good. First blemish on a prison's spotless reputation is always the ugliest. It won't happen again, ma'am. Rather different ward in regard to what we've seen so far. Well, yeah, she's gonna get serious. Mr. Edgeworth, was it? I really can't thank you enough for finding that tunnel, darling. Sadly, it may have been a little too late. It seems he might have already left the building. I'd say that's unlikely, Warden. After all, there's a security gate at the exit to the detention center. You're not suggesting he simply walked through it. What's to say there was only one tunnel, sweetie? I suppose that's true. Well, whatever the case, this is no time to be standing around chit-chatting. Mr. Edgeworth, would you mind continuing with your investigation? It would be my pleasure. And you three can get back to your posts. Yes, ma'am. Detective, the results of the blood test just came back from the lab. Thanks, pal. See what they have to tell us about the blood found in Knight's cell. What does it say, Mr. Edgeworth? They've identified the blood, and it's Knight's. Nice job, everybody. Teamwork makes the dream work, huh? That phrase. I hate it so much. We've got Knight's blood in his holding cell, a tunnel a dog clearly went through, and a security footage showing Knight being attacked by the dog in his cell. Case closed. We've all the evidence we need. Let's see what Mr. Canis has to say for himself. Canis? Oh, darlings, are you sure? Do be careful around him, won't you? He's as well connected on the outside as he is in here. I suppose he would have to be, or else would the so-called fixer stay in business. The police have been trying to track down his accomplices for the longest time. Even I've had to lend them a hand myself, you know? So that's what that was all about. You're still not talking, man? Even with the evidence you borrowed from the precinct? No, and I've tried so many times, I've lost count. What am I supposed to do? I can't send in a blank report. I guess a killer for hire was always going to be a tough nut to crack. You borrowed evidence from the police to help with your investigation, is that correct? Why, yes, everything related to Canis is with me now. Heaven knows how many times I've hauled the secretive scoundrel into my office to talk to me. But no matter what I say or how much evidence I present him with, he simply won't say a word. Prison warden conducting interrogations herself? That's irregular, to say the least. Let your guard down and he'll devour you whole. Be careful, darlings. You have been warned. Ooh-wee, here I thought things couldn't get any spicier. Ask her about the third prisoner. Oh, these two. Here we go again. Judge Gavelle, I didn't expect to find you here. We have been conducting inquiries, which, given that we are in charge of the investigation, is hardly strange. What is strange is that you are still here, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave you a warning, did I not? I told you that your badge was at risk should our paths cross again. And yet, here you are. I am sorry that you thought I might be so easily discouraged, Your Honor. But I am not about to let the truth slip from my grasp, no matter what you or the committee might say. I am here to present a certain someone with evidence that you yourselves should have uncovered. You have more business with me, I take it, Mr. Edgeworth? I do. I promised I would be back to prove that you were the killer, and here I am. This should be amusing. Very well, whenever you are ready.
Objection!
Not so fast. We have some truths of our own to share. First-rate deductions, in fact. Indeed. We are now more than certain than ever that Simeon Saint was the murderer. And that only he could have moved Mr. Knight from his holding cell to the prison proper. We shall prove this to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. But first, a question. Are you quite determined to continue on this course, Mr. Edgeworth? Should you fail to rebut our decisions or deductions, there will be no going back. Your very career hangs in the balance. What? You mean you'll take his badge if you don't like how this goes? That's intimidation. Not at all. If anything, I am showing him mercy. This is not Mr. Edgeworth's case. It never was, and I am under no obligation to hear him out. If he is prepared to accept the potential ramifications of his actions, I will allow him one last chance. Well, are you truly willing to take the risk to put your beloved badge on the line? Mr. Edgeworth. Sir. I accept your terms. I am confident of my reasoning. And what's more, I am representing the firm of Edgeworth & Co. And I do not intend to besmirch its name. More than I already have. My duty will be done, and I will not be intimidated. Very well. Let us see whether you are brave or simply reckless. By the power vested in me by the almighty goddess of justice, let this judgment commence. Eustace, if you will allow me. Fine by me. He's all yours, Gavel. You are aware of the incident involving Mr. Knight the day before yesterday, I assume. He assaulted an innocent guard and stole his keys. Later, in the middle of moving a large animal cage, Mr. Saint stopped by Mr. Knight's cell for a little visit. That's when Mr. Knight stole out of his cell using the keys he'd stolen. He slipped into the cage, and there he hid as he was wheeled to one of the prison workshops. This is long. It figures she was going to bring up Mr. Saint going to Knight's cell. Yesterday, after you so kindly made us aware of the security camera footage, we decided to take a look at it ourselves. Perhaps you would like to see what we found? This is a still from the footage we received. Mr. Saint speaking with Knight at his cell. Correct. You will also note that he has positioned the cage in such a way as to obscure the camera's view. It is this blind spot that Mr. Knight exploited in order to enter the cage undetected. A sound deduction based on what can be observed, wouldn't you say? A blind spot, which means that the camera wouldn't have been able to capture the moment Knight entered the cage if he did it at all. But it's still possible that he didn't actually leave his cell at this point. I don't get it. Why would Mr. Knight want to hide in the cage? There's really only one possibility. He intended to escape. Prison break. That's so cool. Girl, she is not the one to be saying shit like that to right now. Mr. Carcerado, Mr. Knight, everyone's doing it. I have to step up my game. Okay, now is not really the time. Mr. Carcerado's escape is no laughing matter. It is my belief that Mr. Saint helped Mr. Knight with his escape attempt. That is to say, he was his accomplice. Wow, go Simeon. That wasn't a compliment. I understand that the cage was briefly taken to one of the workshops. I imagine that things had gone to plan. Mr. Knight would have remained in the cage until after the show, and then removed from the premises along with the rest of the circus's equipment. Unfortunately for Mr. Knight, Mr. Saint had other ideas. He killed his friend in cold blood. Judge Gavel's argument seems reasonable. Yes, it really does. But there must be a fault in her logic somewhere, and I'm going to find it.
Hold it!
Do you have any proof that Knight stole the keys? I can think of no other reason for him to carry out such a brutal attack. Once the guard he assaulted regains consciousness, I am sure he will confirm our suspicions. I wouldn't be so sure. Perhaps I should press her further on this reasoning. Sorry, but I believe there is a flaw in your reasoning. If Knight had the keys, there was nothing to stop him from leaving whenever he wanted. Why wait for Mr. Saint? There was no need, surely. He chose the option he deemed most likely to succeed. He stole the keys and hid them somewhere, then waited for an opportune moment to present itself. He hid the keys? I'm afraid you might have made an uncharacteristic oversight, Your Honor. But Knight wasn't hiding any keys. That has been proven already. And this is a piece of evidence that proves Knight didn't have the keys.
Take that!
Since you know about the incident, I assume you must already know this, but after the assault, the guards searched both Knight and his cell. No keys were found. And if the whereabouts of the keys cannot be proven, then neither can your theory. I have considered the matter of missing keys, and I do not think it is such an issue. I still believe he had them. After all, the guards only stated that they were unable to locate them. And this is because they were cleverly hidden inside the pocket chest set. The nice chest set? The same set in which the murder weapon was also allegedly hidden? Was it? I can't help but wonder about that. What? But you're the one who proposed it. Actually, if you recall, that was Eustace's assertion. Though the two of them aren't of one mind on this incident. Allow me to restate the facts. Mr. Knight hid the keys he stole from the guard inside his chest set. When Mr. Saint came to see him, Mr. Knight used the keys to open his cell and climbed inside the cage. He was then moved from his holding cell to that workshop in the prison proper, all with the help of his friend and accomplice. Had things gone according to plan, he would have been taken out of the facility after the show. But they did not. Instead, his accomplice murdered him while the show was taking place in the yard.
Objection!
But Mr. Saint was part of that performance. How would he even had time to commit the murder?
Overruled!
Overruled. How indeed? Allow me to explain. As you know, many stage performances follow a set narrative. Yesterday's show was one such example. Marcus. The suspect played the role of the antagonist opposite the elephantine hero of the show. In the latter part of the performance, the heroine's love prevails and the villain is defeated. His victory is depicted in a very unique manner, whereby the villain is sent flying from the stage by the heroine. Sent flying by the elephant? Isn't that dangerous? Having been ejected from the stage in this manner, the villain no longer appears in the performance. In other words, the suspect did not appear on stage for a period of approximately 15 minutes. And you're saying the crime took place during that time? Yes, I'm afraid so. After all, it's more than a sufficient window, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
Committing the crime and returning to the stage in that short 15-minute window is only possible, assuming that the murder took place in the prison proper. But in fact, Your Honor, the real scene of the crime was Knight's cell. I seem to remember telling you that I would not accept that part of the security footage into evidence.
Objection!
Why? And you won't have to. I have proof of a different kind. Very well. Would you be so good as to present it? What proof do you have that the murder took place in the victim's holding cell? Blood?
Take that!
This appears to be a photograph of a floor. Almighty goddess of justice, grant me patience. Ooh, I'd love to see her lose her patience. That floor you're so dismissive of, Your Honor, has traces of Knight's blood on it. Traces, you say? Is this evidence reliable? After all, I don't believe you have access to the necessary forensics operations.
Objection!
Huh. I have my resources. A certain blunt instrument, you might say, but a reliable one. The detective? How very unfortunate for him. Perhaps before you decided to circumvent the law, you might have considered that the committee's influence extends to the police. Why'd you chuckle? Oh no, now Gummy's badge is on the line too. Forgive me, detective, I didn't mean to put you at risk as well. I will enter the fact that Mr. Knight's blood was found in the holding cell into evidence.
Objection!
Bad luck, idiots. You're really on the edge now, Mr. Worthless. Mr. Winter, I'd forgotten you were there. Oh, it lasted. I just butted in to tell you that your entire argument is one big inconsistency. You showed us camera footage of a dog killing Mr. Knight in his cell. Are you saying the mutt also wiped the blood up before he left the scene? Uh-oh. What other tricks can it do? Huh? A blood-wiping dog? You're a joke. You'd have wiped that blood up, wouldn't you, boy? Yes, Helmet. Yes, you would. What? That was one of the tricks I taught him before our work together was so rudely cut short. He's a very tidy boy, you know. Never misses a drop. It wouldn't do to leave any evidence after all. Saved by an assassin. Jeez Louise, you could have just taught the little guy to shake hands. Oh, he does that marvelously too. Although, the way I taught him to do it is somewhat unorthodox. First, he bites down hard on the victim's hand, then... La 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 la, I'm not listening. I see. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. It seems you may have gathered some evidence worth considering.
Objection!
Wait, I'm not done yet. I just thought of something else. Overruled. Oh boy, someone's taking no prisoners. Eustace, would you be so kind as to allow me? All yours, Gavel. Well, do you accept the truth now? The crime took place in Knight's holding cell, and the assassin's dog was the killer.
Overruled!
My position is the same as it was yesterday. Until you can explain how the dog moved between the prison and the detention center, I cannot accept your theory into evidence.
Hold it!
I thought you might say that, which is why I'd like to show you something else. This piece of evidence shows how the dog could freely travel between the prison and the detention center.
Take that!
This is... It's a secret passageway. It runs beneath the prison. What? A secret passageway? It was dug by one Mr. Rocco Carcerado, escapee. It leads from his prison cell to a certain holding cell in the detention center. Yes, the very one where the victim was being held. Well, this is certainly a surprise. To think it was beneath our feet this entire time. Mr. Canis, you knew of this tunnel, didn't you? Because it's the same tunnel that was used to carry out the murder.
Overruled!
In the name of the goddess of justice. Overruled. Mr. Edgeworth, you are out of line.
Hold it!
How so, Your Honor?
Overruled!
Ooh, she's pissed. Evidence is everything. Whether in a court of law or the scene of an investigation. Isn't that your little catchphrase? Well, it just so happens that I have some evidence of my own. Bronco Knight's autopsy reports. Autopsy report? How did we get that? How do you not know you had it? The police handed it to me only a short while ago. The findings are still preliminary, but it has something of value to tell us nonetheless. The goddess of justice speaks to us through these pages, Mr. Edgeworth. Cause of death? Stab wound to the throat. The weapon is said to be a sharp blade of some sort. It seems the victim was stabbed repeatedly in the same spot, resulting in an ugly wound. As such, the victim has yet to identify the exact shape of the weapon. But its overall nature seems to be beyond question. It is a bladed metal instrument. In light of this evidence, do you truly wish to continue with your flight of fancy? Or will you now claim that the dog used a knife instead? That's impossible! That will be all. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
Bitch. But the tunnel, the paw prints. What of them? The helmet is something of a wanderer. Perhaps he just happened to cross this tunnel one day. Although I couldn't say for certain, I myself cannot wander quite so freely. That would be quite a coincidence. But I can't prove it's not the case either. She sure knows how to keep a secret, huh? Kinda wish she'd kicked us in the teeth a little earlier with that. She was baiting me. Waiting for the perfect moment to crush me with that autopsy report. And I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. You are lead attorney for the defense, correct, Mr. Defender? This is the interim autopsy report in question. I do apologize for the delay. Yeah, no sweat. Thanks for hooking us up. Bitch. Ooh. Now let's check it. Down for the night, stab wound to the throat, instant death. Where does it say repeated? Oh, it checks out. Yep, Mr. Fender. A handshake is not necessary when receiving official court documents, you know. But please feel free to let go of my hand. It's not a holy relic, after all. We're just trying to be friendly, Your Honor. Had you lingered a moment longer, the goddess of justice would have spoken to you through my gavel. Alright, I got it. Nice work, Cavell. Just like we planned it. Just how we planned it. Oh, yeah, totally planned. I did only as you instructed, Eustace. But thank you. This fucking bitch. Let me tell you what, this is corruption. This report came from the police. I have no choice but to accept its legitimacy. But if the dog didn't kill Knight, then it takes Canis out of the running. The goddess of justice speaks to me, Mr. Edgeworth, and she is merciful. She tells me that you might yet keep your badge if you will finally abandon this fruitless quest. What's our move, sir? I think she really means it this time. What do you think, detective? What do you think, detective? My answer remains the same, Judge Gavell. I will see my duty done, and I will not be intimidated. Even with how things stand, you still refuse to concede? This may very well be your last chance. Your badge hangs on a thread. Then let it fall if it must. I have something far more important to protect as an associate attorney. My client. The goddess of justice is no doubt saddened by your refusal to accept yet another offer of mercy. Bitch, who the fuck are you? Attaboy, Miles. That's what I like to see. Looks like the defense never rests is really starting to mean something to you. Credit to your old man, though. He's the one who said it first. My father? In fact, I could swear I saw Gregory's spirit in you for a second there. You said that you changed since your days in Von Karma's shadow. I didn't believe you at first, but I'm starting to. Thank you, Bender. Alright, kids. This is where the rubber really hits the road. Put your thinking caps on, it's make or break time. If it's true that Knight was offed with a bladed weapon, does our whole case really fall apart? Bladed? Of course. There were 5 chisels in Canis' cell when we last looked. Well, there were 5 chisels. A former assassin certainly wouldn't struggle to commit murder with a tool like that. In which case, the weapon that killed Knight was... Have you quite finished?
Hold it!
It would be in your best interest to evidence is everything. It may well be my little catchphrase, but it's also true. The murder weapon was a sharp blade. Where is it? The guards didn't find it. Why can't you let this go? So what if they didn't find it? What are you driving at? What if I were to tell you that I now know what the real murder weapon was? And it was right under our noses this whole time, indeed. It was one of Mr. Canis' chisels. What?
Overruled!
I would advise you to stop bombarding us with your irresponsible, half-baked theories, Mr. Edgeworth. You have repeatedly insisted that Mr. Knight was killed in his cell by a dog. I simply go where the evidence takes me, both in the courtroom and at the scene of the crime. If the murder weapon was in fact a chisel, then yes, the murderer could not have been a dog. But that begs the question of what exactly it was we saw in the security footage. Oh yeah, the security footage. How do you explain that, Mr. Smarty Pants? An excellent question. The footage shows... Mr. Canis' dog jumping up at Knight. The dog attacked Knight, but he didn't kill the man. He didn't? No, Knight was merely knocked out. The dog didn't drag a corpse to the tunnel, he dragged an alive but unconscious Knight. The real killer was the dog's master. Oh, I get it. By bringing Knight here, Mr. Canis could finish the job. And he could definitely use one of his chisels to do it. Correct. You. Bodhidharma Canis. Bodhidharma Canis. You're the only one who could have done it.
Objection!
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, you ever get this on your report card? Refuses to listen, must learn to respect others. Are you asking me or confessing to what's on yours? We already searched Mr. Canis' cell from top to bottom, right, Cavell? Yes, we even inspected his chisels, all 4 of them. There wasn't a single speck of blood.
Hold it!
Why, thank you, Your Honor. You've just confirmed my theory. Yeah? What exactly do you mean? Last time we were here, there were 5 chisels, not 4. Oh yeah, I remember counting them. Definitely 5. And the one that's missing is the small one. The one we thought might be a pocket chisel. Mr. Canis, where did you hide that chisel? A pocket chisel? And what use might I have for such a thing? I'm really allowed to leave my cell. In which case, you shouldn't have had the chance to dispose of the weapon. You dug your own grave, Mr. Canis. You seem to have an idea where this missing chisel might be, Mr. Edgeworth. Would you enlighten us? A man who can't leave the cell of his own volition. Canis could leave the chisel here.
Take that!
Mr. Canis is still a prisoner, despite the comfort he enjoys. He's rarely allowed out of his cell. He could have given the chisel to his dog to leave somewhere, but that would have been far from ideal. He would have no way of guaranteeing where it might end up. Intriguing. You go on, Mr. Edgeworth. Furthermore, this room is one place where a bladed instrument wouldn't raise an eyebrow. 4 chisels, 5 chisels, who's counting? A fact he took full advantage of. Ah, the old keep the incriminating evidence close routine. Classic.
Objection!
But I looked. I searched the whole cell myself, and there's no way he could have
Objection!
Up his bum. I am certain that the murder weapon is here, and that... reason why no one has found it yet is because it was hidden in such an ingenious manner. Do enlighten us, Mr. Edgeworth. What was my ingenious plan? Think much. There must be a hiding spot he could make use of. About when you came here previously, what are you missing? He's not showing us out permanently, right? Let's get out of here. Come on. The dog. He hasn't made a sound today. When we were here before, he barked and growled repeatedly. Canis even encouraged him to do so. That must be it. Knew something was off. Hard to believe it, but I think I know where he hid the murder weapon. Giving up already? I expected more of you, Mr.
Hold it!
As well as you should. If you would give me a moment. This piece of evidence shows where you hid the murder weapon.
Take that!
Your dog. He seems unusually quiet today. Oh yeah, unlike last time when... Mr. Canis, if you would be so kind as to open Helmet's mouth. Oh, she knows his name. Oh, come now. He hasn't barked because he's a well-behaved boy. I had to order him the last time. And order him again this instant. It's not like we're asking for the world, Mr. King. Or do you have something to hide? You insist? Come on, Helmet. Open up. And there we have it. A chisel that's... Oh, easy to... What? Chisel? In the dog? Why is there a chisel in the dog? I thought he'd been strangely quiet. Guess his brain finally caught up. Eustace. Why don't you be a good boy and call forensics? Tell them it's urgent. Okay. Our findings are as follows. Traces of blood were detected on the chisel. What? Not such a half-baked theory after all, was it? Alright. So we're all on the same page here. This is our murder weapon, yeah? The forensic evidence cannot be ignored. We have no choice but to concede that this is most likely the case. Mr. Canis, in light of the discovery of the murder weapon, the court demands that you explain yourself. We found out your dog took it to the holding cells, and now we have the chisel. How do you propose to talk your way out of this one? You never fail to entertain, Mr. Edgeworth. Why does he always laugh like that, even when it's not funny? Poor Helmet. How could they suspect us? You leave me little choice. I shall simply have to share with you the truth. I did not kill anyone. I have grown tired of killing. Something's not right. Why is he so calm? Very well. The court will hear Mr. Canis' testimony. If you would be so kind. Gladly. Still so... Perhaps you might begin by explaining what you believe my motive to have been. I never knew this knight. I had no contact with him, no connection whatsoever. Given that this is the case, why would I possibly wish him dead? Could it be you are suggesting that it was my canine companion who had the motive instead? Helmet only bears his fangs when I tell him to. He's a good boy. he's a little murderous boy, but he's still a good boy. Follows instructions. I am not so bloodthirsty that I would kill a man I did not know. I mean, when he puts it that way, assassin who only kills his acquaintances? Not the soundest business model, I agree. My work required me to deal with strangers, of course, but murder for its own sake? It's not my style. So I need to maintain this. I should go over the evidence again and see what I can discover.
Objection!
You're getting sloppy, Mr. Canis. You may have trained your dog to clean up your mess, but some things still require a human touch. We found this in his victim's room. It's the record of a game of correspondence chess. What's more, the game depicted matches the game laid out on your board. What? The number of possible games has been calculated to be 10 to the power of 1. That's on the low end. Wait, so that's 10 times 10, 120 times over, right? 100, 1,000. I give up. I mean, what do you even call a number that big? A vanishingly unlikely coincidence. That's what. Now, tell us why you killed Knight. Unless that is, you would prefer to explain the coincidence. Well, they do say that truth is stranger than fiction. It is, as you say, a coincidence. But that's totally impossible. We just proved that. A coincidence of a different kind, child. I never imagined my correspondent was the victim, you see. And yet here we are. Helmet is as surprised as I am, aren't you, Helmet? I suppose there's nothing for it but to finally tell the truth. Boy. The other prisoners had all gone to the yard, you see. There was a show of some sort, I believe. Here I was, minding my own business, when in comes Helmet dragging a corpse of all things. I had quite the shock, not least because the murder weapon was still in the poor fellow's neck. Of course, I was none too keen on becoming a suspect, so I had Helmet take the body to the workshop. Once there, he removed the murder weapon and brought it back to me, just as I had asked. The dog pulled out the murder weapon in the workshop? Indeed he did. Leaving it here would have made an awful mess, after all. You know something? That makes total sense. Remember what Mr. Sawit said, Mr. Edward? That huge black dog had sunk his terrible teeth into the victim's throat. What did you just say? It's hellish. Utterly hellish. That beast, that awful beast, he killed him. I see. So what Mr. Sawit actually saw was Helmet removing the murder weapon then. Precisely. I can't say I wasn't a little disappointed that he was spotted, of course. Silly boy. It's not like you to slip up like that, is it now? And there you have it. That is about all there is to tell. I did not kill them. At most, I am responsible for the removal of the weapon. Now, will that be all? Poor Helmet is growing restless.
Objection!
What was that for? Objection.
Sorry, but if you could entertain us for just a little longer, Mr. Canis. Bender? No offense, Palio, but I don't think you quite told us everything. I'm sure we'd all like to know why you thought you needed to pull that chisel out in the first place. Right. Makes sense if you moved the body to remove suspicion. There's no reason at all to cover the murder weapon. So the mute one is as dumb as I thought. Please answer the question, Mr. Canis. It was because of the bell. The one attached to the chisel. one around Helmet's neck. Have a very distinctive design, if you will. Of course, they were something of a trademark of yours, not. I don't get it. How does that even work? Lord Hidamak Canis, the blind butcher, his appearance was always announced by the sound of bells. I don't know how to say that. I'm sure I'm butchering that. Got too many letters for me to process. The sound his victims would ever... Oh, the last sound his victims would ever hear. I don't know. Though it's been some years since you last saw one of them, you remember them well. Your knife and its attached bell were one of the pieces of evidence seized in our case against you. Yes. It's but one of my bells. One of only 2 in existence. Just 2? 2 and only 2. One for my knife and one for my beloved helmet. Exquisitely crafted. Utterly unique. My ears are my guide, after all. And I must be able to use my tools precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife has long since been taken from me. When Helmet brought the body to my cell, I was rather surprised to hear a familiar sound. At first, I was sure that my knife had been used to do the deed. But no, a chisel. Ordinary chisel. Certainly no assassin's blade. Nonetheless, the bell would have suggested my involvement. Compounding the matter is the fact that I am the only person in this prison permitted to use such tools. It was clear that I would become the prime suspect, and so the chisel had to be removed and hidden.
Hold it!
You still claim that all you did was have the dog move the body, and that you had nothing to do with the killing? How could I? I told you. The chisel is not mine. You need not take my word, Mr. Edgeworth. Why not have it checked for fingerprints? Eustace! Huh? But me? But I don't know how to check for prints. Get forensic. Oh, right. Sure thing. We got him. Fingerprints. They're Mr. Knight's. Mr. Canis's? Nope. It's Mr. Knight's. Oh, and forensics said there's no sign of any prints having been wiped off. Only Knight's fingerprints? This isn't good. Should I get them to check again? Now do you see? I have never so much as touched that chisel. Helmet carried it in his mouth, that is all. Therefore, any prints must belong to whoever had it last. Will the murder weapon belong to the victim? Ooh, that's not helpful. As I said, I have not touched the chisel. Therefore, I cannot be the killer. Or do you wish to suggest otherwise? Got nothing to counter with. But what could this mean? Is he not the killer after all? Is he actually telling the truth? No, he can't be. I am sure this goes without saying, Mr. Edgeworth, but if you do not find a solution to your current predicament, I will have little choice but to relieve you of your badge. Even my patience has a limit, and I will not tolerate you throwing this investigation into chaos. Am I clear? You've done it now, sir. She's serious. The fingerprints turn everything on its head. Without more evidence, I'm back to square one. Wait, something doesn't add up. A few things, actually. What would Mr. Knight have needed a chisel for? You can do a lot with a chisel, child. Break out of prison, for one. Alright, then how did he get it in here? There's no way the guards would have let him bring a super sharp tool in with him, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, to Mr. Edgeworth. You can't stand there hemming and hawing just because of a little setback. The important thing is finding the truth, you know? It doesn't matter how we get there. As long as we have Simeon in the end, we can't give up now or ever. Yeah, what she said. I'll second that. You won me around with that, Kay. I'm half tempted to offer you a job for real. Like I said, the defense never rests. Or rather, like your pop said, what do you think lies at the heart of those words, Miles? Any guesses? Heart of... It's like this. As defense attorneys, our client's fate rests on our shoulders. We're the only ones they can turn to. Simeon's our client, and we're the only ones who can save him. So we can't rest. Not while he's counting on us. I'm about to turn my back on your old man's I'm not about to turn my back on your old man's legacy. Are you? I'm an associate with the defense now. No. I'm an associate with my father's firm. That's the role I have chosen, and that means that if I fail to save my client, I have failed in my duties. I will honor my father's vision and save Simeon Saint. No matter what setbacks I face, I cannot admit defeat. If one path is blocked, I must simply find another. There we go! That's the mileage I've lived by now. Now let's find that new path forward. We can start by trying to figure out how Mr. Knight brought that chisel into prison. Right. How would Mr. Knight have managed to bring the chisel in here?
Take that!
Usually, it wouldn't be possible to bring a metal object into the facility undetected. Because of the security gates, right? Correct. But we already know that... We already know that checks at one of the gates haven't been entirely thorough of late. Namely, the gate at the entrance to the detection center. That gate is used only to scan people. Any items they bring into the facility are only subjected to a cursory check. Are you telling me that the chess set wasn't put through the metal detector? It should have been. Alas, the guards have grown a little lax in that regard of late. Knight took advantage of this little oversight and had Mr. Saint bring him the chisel, hidden inside his pocket chess set. That does answer one of our questions. And it suggests that the chisel was indeed Mr. Knight's and not Mr. Kingsley's. However, we still have one rather pressing problem to address. That of the security footage in which Knight is attacked by a dog. How does one explain it if Mr. Canis was not the culprit? But then, how do you explain his prints not being on the murder weapon? That's the real three-piper. Oh, that one's a real three-piper. The court, too, finds itself wanting for a satisfactory explanation. Wait, sir, I think it might be time to show you another one of my secret weapons. Introducing secret weapon number 4, Lil V. What sort of name is that, detective? I came up with it myself, sir. Anyway, you can use it to analyze the video footage. Excellent. Perhaps then you might finally see that I am telling you. Who knows if there's anything to be found, but it has to be worth a try. Alright. Want me to talk you how to use it, sir? I'm not exactly video analysis techniques. I should probably hear him out. No, I'm sure it won't be that complicated. Whatever you say, sir. Now let's fire Lil V up. Remember, just examine anything that catches your eye and you'll do fine. Footage from Knight's holding cell. Other than the victim being attacked by that dog, I can't see what else it might show us. Suppose we're wrong. What could we be looking at instead? Could the person in the footage be someone other than the Knight? So, could whatever's attacking them be something else too? I should keep both questions in mind while reviewing the footage. You never know what you're gonna see once you start looking at things up close. Check every detail, sir. You'll find something, I'm sure. Press the play icon to play the video and pause pause icon to stop it while playing the video. You can either fast forward or rewind it while it is paused. At about, oh, excuse me, a timestamp. 6:42:21. Pause the video. I'm on top. Sir, look! I suspect we may have made a critical error of judgment. What we're looking at here is no dog. This animal is... That's not a dog. It's a bear! What? So the paw prints from the photo I took were not canine, but ursine. There? So could that mean? Yes, I think it could. After all, who else do we know is such a pet? And if we were mistaken about the creature in the footage, it's not conceivable that we were mistaken about the person in the footage too. Maybe there's something in there that can prove it, sir. Something that shows it wasn't night? You're right. You can't see the person's face, which correct identification is out of the question. But perhaps there's something that can tell us who they are indirectly. Indirectly, like the mirror? Yes, it's certainly worth a look. But in this footage seems who the person really is. Click X instead of Y. It's been a long day. This is a long day. I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing. Figure is reflected in the mirror here too. That a hat? Say, doesn't that look like the hats the guards wear, sir? Aw, jeez, is that what I think it is? There been any reports of one of the animals attacking a guard recently? Not that I've heard of. This may not be a guard at all, but somebody dressed as one. Perhaps this might shed a little light on the matter of the hats. So no guards have reported being attacked by an animal as far as we know. But we did hear about a guard's spare uniform being stolen. Could the person in the security footage perhaps be someone disguised as a guard? Someone attempting to escape without being noticed? A guard disguise? I guess it might work. Wait, are we just talking about someone? We were indeed. Someone who seemed so successfully made his escape. We'd assume that it was night in the security footage. Well, it was his cell. It's hardly a crazy theory. Perhaps, but now we know about the hole under the bed. It is no longer the only possibility. Whoever had access to the tunnel could very well Be the one caught on camera. And who was that, Mr. Edgeworth? Would you care to tell the court who you believe this person to be? The person in security footage is... the escape artist. Escape.
Take that!
I believe I know who our guard in disguise is. It is none other than Rocco Carcerado, the prisoner who recently escaped from this facility. I'm confident it's him because he was assigned a polar bear cub as his companion. But the bear in that video is all black. Indeed, and we have evidence that explains why. The evidence that explains the polar bear's dark fur is...
Take that!
recall, if you will, Mr. Frank Sawat's testimony. That's the rubber glove I dropped. Do you care to explain why it's so dirty? Oh, of course. That's mud from one of the pet treatments I've been practicing. I was giving one of the animals a mud pack right when the incident happened. I see. Around what time would this have been? Let's see. The show had already started, so around 9 a.m. perhaps? The thing is, the more mud I applied, the more in the zone I got, and the darker the animal's fur became. There's no trance quite like the trance one enters when one slathers an animal with thick black mud. While the circus performance was underway, he was giving one of the animals a mud pack treatment. And that animal could have been, indeed, our polar bear.
Overruled!
Mr. Edgeworth, your latest assertion simply introduces yet another contradiction. The footage of the security camera. I fully understand, Your Honor. And your doubts are entirely justified. Mr. Sawat mentioned applying the mud pack while the circus performance was underway. And this does indeed introduce a new contradiction concerning the security footage. It does? Yes. Let's put it this way. Would you expect the footage to have been recorded, Kay? When would you expect the footage to have been recorded, Kay? If it was taken right after you applied the mud pack treatment, it should have been around 9 a.m. In which case, something isn't right about the footage. Really? And what's that? What new contradiction does the security footage introduce? Oh yeah, that's at 6 a.m.
Take that!
Mr. Sawat said he administered the treatment at around 9 a.m. In which case, the security footage should also show a time of around 9. However, the timestamp says 6:42 a.m. On the day of the murder, the prisoners all went out to the yard to watch the circus. All except 3. Mr. Canis, who remained in his cell in maximum security. Mr. Sawat, who was administering a mud pack treatment in the workshop. And Rocco Carcerado, who had been awaiting that precise moment to put his escape plan into action. I believe he entrusted the bear to Mr. Sawat before entering the tunnel. Oh, look how cute he is! And the bear then slipped out of Mr. Sawat's grasp to run after its human. Mr. Sawat would have then left the workshop to pursue the bear, at which point he saw Mr. Canis' dog retrieving the murder weapon from Knight's body. It all fits perfectly, except for the security footage, which should have been recorded from around 9 a.m. However, the timestamp is 3 hours off. But why would the timestamp be wrong? Detective, I would like you to have the security camera examined right away, please. I'm back, sir. I just talked to the guards and... Seems like the time codes can slip on these cameras if they lose power. What? They're pretty old, sir. Guess the clock stops when the power's off. Which would mean the power is off for approximately 3 hours or something. That's not all, sir. You remember how Knight denied stealing the keys? No one believed him considering, well, you know, he kind of seemed like the only suspect. Turns out that wasn't all he said. He also said he was knocked out cold, just like the other guy. May not necessarily have been a lie. Darlings, there you all are. How goes the investigation? Is there anything I can do to help things along? Actually, there might be something we can do for you, Warden Guard. The escapee, Mr. Carcerado. I believe he may still be on the premises. He's disguised as a guard. Here's the proof, should you need it. We're reasonably certain that the person captured on this tape is our man. And if I'm correct, he might even be right here in this room with us now. Hey, Mr. Carcerado would have been wearing a bracelet, right? Yes, a bracelet that could be easily hidden under the sleeves of his stolen uniform. Furthermore, the doors out of the prison proper don't have those sensors that detect the bracelets installed. So if he avoided the doors with sensors, he could simply wait for an opportunity to make his escape. Well, yes, I suppose he could. He'd just have to avoid the workshops and the cells and, oh my. He's one of you, isn't he? He's right here. He's here right now. Look, it's Teddy. Look how cute he is. Ah! Hey, paws off. Get your mitts off of me, you big palooka. Thank you, Teddy. Very kind of you to confirm our suspicions. Ah. Dang it, kid. If it wasn't for you, I'd have... Loves his daddy. What a thing it is to be loved, huh, Mr. Carcerado? I'm almost envious. Guards, apprehend this man. A moment, if you will. I have some questions for our would-be escapee. If we are to learn the truth, I will need to speak with him, with your permission, of course. I can hardly say no now, can I? Well, come on then. Hit me with your best shot. Mr. Carcerado's escape route led directly into Knight's cell. Highly possible he has something to offer. Tell me what you were doing on the day Mr. Knight's body was discovered. So it was you guys, huh? You're the ones who found my secret getaway tunnel. You know how long it took me to dig that freaking thing? I had me a guard's uniform, a hole dug, and a plan in place, so I went for it on the day you found the guy. Then this little guy had to come right after me. The sack of fur was covered in mud, too. Had to go back to our cell. Oh, had to go back. I would have gotten away with it if it... I would have gotten away with it if somebody had an off night and brought you bums down here. You claim to have dug that tunnel just now. How exactly did you do it? How? Used everything I could get my hands on. See? Hammer, spoons, you name it. Spent every dime I had on this cockamamie fixer. What do I got to show for it now, huh? Do not be disheartened, friend. Tomorrow is another day. There's an outside chance Mr. Carcerado and Knight met face to face just before Knight's death. I should see what other details I can extract from him. Know how long it took me to dig that freaking thing?
Hold it!
Uniform. Was that from the fixer too? Uh-huh, sure was. Heard he had something on one of the guards. Had the guy swipe it from a pal's locker. And were you wearing it when you were crawling through the tunnel? Nope, would've got dirt on it. Had to hold on to it till I got to the holding cell. But once I was out of there and all dressed up, opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake. Here we go, I think. Freedom beckons. And then the furball here jumps up at me. Which would be the moment captured on camera. I see. I'd be grateful if you could add that to your testimony. Once I was out of that tunnel and all dressed up, opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake.
Objection!
You claim that leaving the holding cell would have been a piece of cake, as you put it. Yeah, you got a problem with that? Because we can make it a problem if you catch my drift. Ooh. Oh, he's ready. Even once you reached Knight's cell, you still had another door to contend with. How exactly did you plan on opening it? Mr. Carcerado, I posit that leaving the cell would have been a piece of cake only because you had the key. I don't got no stinking key. I didn't need one. It was a piece of cake because the door was open. I walked right out. Yes, I suppose Knight's cell was vacant by that point. There would have been no reason to lock it. And it was indeed unlocked when I went to examine it by myself. So perhaps you finally succeeded today. It truly was unlocked because it was after the murder. But you had attempted to escape previously. Yeah, the security footage shows when you tried and failed because Teddy caught you during the circus performance before the body was discovered. The holding cell was still locked at that time because no one knew that Knight had been killed yet. Therefore, you must have had the key to the cell on you. Without it, your escape would not have been possible. Are you saying that he really had... I believe he could, yes. The theft of the keys was, in fact, perpetrated by none other than Mr. Carcerado. He is the one who attacked the guard. But not just the guard, Knight too, all to gain possession of the guard's keys. It wasn't me, you lousy bum. I didn't even know this Knight guy.
Objection!
After you stole the keys, you went back to your cell to avoid suspicion. Then you waited for the perfect moment to escape. A moment when the prison almost deserted. Right, the moment of the show. Just before the discovery of the body. Unluckily for you, that particular attempt was thwarted by your furry friend. That's who, huh? You got proof, genius? This ain't your win yet. Nuh-uh. Knight knocked the guard out for the count, and everyone knows it.
Objection!
Don't play games with me. Knight was as much a victim as the guard in this case. As a matter of fact, I have proof that Knight had been attacked in his cell. You? Oh, the one.
Take that!
We found traces of Knight's blood on the cleanly white floor of his cell. What could possibly explain such a thing other than him having been attacked? And it was you who attacked him. You ambushed both of them and stole the keys. Why, I oughta. What's with you, huh? That newspaper wiped that blood up good. Ain't no way you should have found it. Okay, but why did you think you had to wipe it up anyway? If they checked Knight in the guard's hands, they would have seen those two never came to blows. That blood'd give up the whole game. Ain't no way they don't figure there was a third man. Plus, once they started sniffing around on the floor, they'd have found the tunnel in a heartbeat. So you wiped up the blood by yourself. Oh, so you wiped up the blood to buy yourself a little more time so you could wait for a better opportunity? Sadly, the opportunity you sought wasn't good enough to get you clear of the prison, it seems. Now, hand over the keys. Right in the kisser. Ew. Ooh, that was unsettling. Ugh, KO'd by a lousy, stinking bum. Fine, you want keys? Here, I hope you choke on them.
Overruled.
Wait a minute. Mr. Carcerado here had the keys. Indeed, Your Honor. Your theory lies on Knight having used the keys he allegedly stole to escape the cell. That was the only way he would have been able to enter Mr. Saint's cage and be moved to the workshop. Unfortunately for you, we now know that that theory cannot possibly be true. No! Guess this changes things up a bit, yeah? Now the only person who could have moved Knight's body is the one person who knew about that tunnel. No, you gotta be freaking... Mr. Carcerado, you're under arrest. Come quietly now, pal. Wait, you got the wrong guy. I didn't do nothing. You're under arrest from the prison. Alright, fine. I knocked those two chumps out and I stole the keys. But after that, I went right back to my cell and waited for my moment. Next time I went to Knight's cell, there was nobody around. And I mean nobody. Plus, his body was found in the workshop. You think I just magicked my way in there or something? I couldn't even have gotten out of my cell. You only had the key to Knight's cell. You couldn't have let your own cell back in the prison. But Mr. Canis's dog could. What? It was not you, but Helmut moved the body from your cell to the workshop. I get it now. You're saying he wasn't the only con in this conspiracy. Indeed. One can easily imagine that Mr. Carcerado and Mr. Canis might have worked together. Mr. Carcerado would have killed Knight and dragged him back to his cell. And then Mr. Canis's dog took him from there to the workshop. There are no restrictions on the animal's movements within the prison. Movement between the detention center and the prison proper, however, is tightly controlled. There's only one possible route, and only you could have taken advantage of it, Mr. Carcerado. How can you be so sure, huh? Maybe there's more of them and you just don't know. Something tells me that digging even a single tunnel was arduous enough. You got that right. Try scraping more than one hole in the dirt with a spoon. Lucky for me, I didn't have to dig the whole way. Somebody already did a bunch of the work for me. What? You didn't dig the entire tunnel yourself? Nope, found it when they put me in that cell. Ran all the way from there to the well in the yard already. Even looked down the well to check it from there. It was the same tunnel, alright. I just made good on what somebody else already started. Then what was that original tunnel for? Who knows? You're the one with all the answers, pal. Maybe somebody else tried to break out. Ooh, or maybe the animals dug it. Like, to get water from the well or something? I've heard plausible scenarios than that in B-grade movies, Kay. Well's dry, kid. Ain't no water to be had down there. So, come to think of it, smell. Yeah, I always smelled kinda nice down there. Nice? Gee, I don't know. It smells sort of like dessert, I guess? Sweet scent. That sounds very familiar. Where did we come across a sweet scent before?
Take that!
Detective Gumshoe noticed a sweet smell when we were examining Knight's body. With the help of a police dog, we followed the scent of the body and traced its route back through the prison. And that, Mr. Carcerado, is how we found your tunnel. Did that same sweet scent be what you noticed coming from the well? Very clever, Mr. You mean to suggest that this is evidence of the body having been moved through the tunnel? I do. Furthermore, Mr. Carcerado, you were the only person who could have done it. Nobody else had access. Have our thanks, Mr. Carcerado. Truly. Finally, Finally, the truth comes into view. Now, unburden yourself. It is time. Confess your role in this tragic incident. What? You ain't pinning this on me. I'm glad to see that we are finally in agreement, Your Honor. Oh, if only we were, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Carcerado may have been an accomplice, but not of Mr. Canis. No, he was working with Mr.
Hold
it! What do you mean? I do not believe that he took Mr. Knight's body. Instead, I believe that he lent Mr. Knight the use of the keys he stole. You gotta be kidding me. Granted, it seems likely that he attacked Mr. Knight. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Mr. Knight was knocked unconscious as a result. Pull this bitch. And what if he wasn't? And what if he wasn't? What if he and Mr. Carcerado had reached a certain agreement? What kind of agreement exactly? Mr. Knight was plotting an escape for which he required a means of leaving his cell. And here was that precise means, in the form of the keys Mr. Carcerado had just stolen from the guard. Mr. Carcerado himself would need to pass through Mr. Knight's cell in order to effect his escape. Mr. Knight needed only to shout and alert the guards. Mr. Carcerado's plan was ruined. And so, the two struck a deal. Lady, the only striking I do is with my fists. My, you still deny it? So, we're agreeing that we still disagree? Mr. Knight had Mr. Carcerado unlock his cell so that when Mr. Saint arrived, he could escape into the cage. Mr. Saint was then able to move him into the prison proper just as planned. Aha! And then he took Mr. Knight into the workshop and did the dirty deed.
Objection!
Dirty. Were neither of you listening? Scent on Mr. Knight's body proves that it was taken through the tunnel.
Overruled!
From the cell to the... Perhaps if you would let me finish, Mr. Edgeworth. I am not denying that Mr. Knight's body was moved through the tunnel. Then what are you driving at? Is this a trick question? As you say, Mr. Edgeworth. Sweet scent shows the route the body took. However, it did not enter the tunnel from Mr. Knight's cell. Huh? And how did it get down? There's another possibility, one you seem to have overlooked. The well in the yard. Could the body not have entered the tunnel from there? The well in the yard? Oh, yeah, that thing. Mr. Saint did not take the cage to the workshop, he took it outside. There he killed Mr. Knight and threw his body down the well. Mr. Canis' dog then dragged Mr. Knight's body here to his owner's cell from the bottom of the well. On that note, I would ask you to recall something. What was happening in the yard at the approximate time of the body's discovery? The circus show, right? Regina and Simeon were performing for everyone. Wait, Simeon! Ah! Ah, indeed. So you see how it must have also been him who disposed of the body. Judge Vale is a truly formidable opponent. So accurately adjusted her theory to fit the facts. I propose that Mr. Knight was taken to the yard, not the workshop. And as we have established, Mr. Saint was off stage for 15 minutes. Ample time to throw the body down the well. I'm sure you will agree.
Objection!
Your deduction is impressive, Your Honor. However, supposing that Knight's body was indeed thrown down the well, say that it was during the show. It could have happened at a different time. My sympathies, Mr. Edgeworth, but it simply could not have. What? Mr. Carcerado was using the tunnel at around the time the show began. Mr. Carcerado, did you happen to trip over a corpse while you were down there? No. The place was clean. The body had been at the bottom of the well before the show began. Mr. Carcerado would have seen it. However, he saw no such thing. Which makes it somewhat difficult to support your theory. Furthermore, Mr. Knight's body was discovered in the workshop after the show. In summary, the body must have been thrown down the well and moved to the workshop at some point during the show. Tell me, who else could have done that but Mr. Saint? What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? The body did indeed enter the tunnel. Well, things don't look good for Mr. Saint still. Your Honor, your theory is just that, a theory. And I posit that you lack the evidence to back it up. I concede that, for the moment, I do not. May I suggest that we investigate the yard again? Very well. The goddess of justice go with you. Now then, to the yard, as we can finally put this case to rest. Huh? What's that sound? Yikes, is there a fire? Somebody else escaped? Should we maybe skip town too? Darling, there is nothing to be alarmed about. By which I mean, that's not an alarm. It's the dinner bell. Although I suppose it is rather alarming if you aren't used to it. Certainly scared the heck out of me. I'm so sorry, sweet Pete. I hope you can forgive us. Alright, you two, back to your posts. Chop chop. This bitch. And as for you, Rocco Carcerado, it's time you went back to your room. Fine, I get the picture. Come on, Teddy, we're out of here. Warden Lagarde, I'd like to take one more look around the yard now. Oh, darlings, don't you have homes of your own to go to? Visiting hours are over, I'm afraid. Tomorrow. No, it's imperative that we investigate it right away. I think we've had enough excitement for one day, don't you? Murderers, escapees, so time, I guess, when to Betty buys, isn't it? Yes, it is. Darling, don't make me bore you with all that I am the warden, this is an order nonsense. Warden Lagarde is right. Her word is law here. We must respect her wishes. Mr. Edgeworth, your investigation of the yard will have to wait until tomorrow. You may keep your badge for now. Matter of your standing can. I bid you all good day. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, kittykins? Off you go. Fine, at least there is a tomorrow for me. Judge Vale believes that Knight's body was dropped down the well, taken from Mr. Carcerado's cell to the workshop. But is that truly the case? Factually support her theory. She also seems to believe Mr. Saint had to be the one to move the body. But was he really the only one with the opportunity to do so? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Tomorrow's another day. We'll figure out a way to say Simeon. I know we will. Yes, we will. It'll prove that Mr. Saint is innocent beyond a shadow of a doubt. To be continued. Jesus God, finally. Anyway, that was the Captain Turnabout Part 3. One more part, and I have a feeling that last part's going to be a doozy too. But that'll just have to wait until later. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I will see you all next time.